So, I had this horrible idea. Build a car, take that car to Wasteland Weekend, the post-apocalyptic event in the desert where people LARP like they're characters from Mad Max, and while at Wasteland, we play Thunder Road from Restoration Games. Why? I don't know. I agree. None of those things go with each other. Nerds who play games don't typically build cars, but I'm that nerd. And somehow I convinced Restoration Games to be a part of this insanity. And then I convinced Brett to be a part of it.
Hey, I'm Brett Sheridan, and I'm an idiot.
It's a Middle Aged Wasteland. We're all wasted.
And rather than build a car in Los Angeles, I decided to do it in South Dakota, in my hometown, at my dad's shop.
Hear that? That was rude.
So yeah, we're going to South Dakota.
So Brett and I packed our bags, but some of us took longer than others.
Of course I wasn't packed. I didn't want to go. I don't know why Leif was surprised by that.
Admittedly, I didn't start off the trip in a great way. I was exhausted from the get-go. I'd gone to a punk rock show in LA the night before. So I was hoping to get some sleep on the plane, but like a harbinger from the depths of hell, the plane was telling us not to go.
We've been sitting here for an hour waiting for an armrest to get fixed.
I don't know, Leif told me about it afterwards. I was sleeping the whole time. Now this is gonna be a theme for me, but I love to sleep. It's my favorite.
There was a small problem that turned into a big problem. You want foreshadowing? That is foreshadowing. And then there were also signs that were like in our favor. Like on the plane, in the film catalog, there was a documentary about Wasteland, a film I'd never heard of, not a popular film. So I took that as a good sign, right? So my hometown is like 90 miles from the closest airport. Long drive, whole lot of nothing. Now, when I say my hometown is small, it's small.
Very, very small.
So Brett and I are here in Clear Lake, South Dakota, which is my hometown, and we don't normally look this grubby.
No.
Why are we this grubby?
Because we're building a car.
We are building a car to take to Wasteland Weekend to then play a board game.
Yeah. There's like a big cash prize we're gonna win.
Nope.
Nope.
No, we're just gonna do all this work and we get nothing else but the joy of knowing we accomplished it.
Free ice cream?
Maybe ice cream.
I'd do it for ice cream.
So I guess for the next week or so,
Yeah, you said maybe a week and a half. That's what I told my wife, so we're sticking to that.
it was not a week and a half.
We were gone so long that I feared divorce.
We were so naive. All right, so for the next week and a half, the population of Clear Lake just went up by 2.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Day 1.
Day 1.
Here we go.
Today's gonna be about coming up with a plan, finding the vehicle we want to start with.
We have 17 days to build a car and get it from South Dakota back to California for the start of Wasteland Weekend.
And yes, my hair always looks like this every morning. Very Eraserhead vibes.
So the first agenda item is just to take a tour to go through all my dad's stuff. My dad has been avid car and tractor collector for decades.
50 years. Started out as when I was 12 years old working on tractors. Now I kind of gravitated to cars for a little bit of change in my life. When you get to the end of the highway, things look a little different.
Which means he has a lot of options of what could be incorporated into the build of the vehicle. And I just wanted to get a feel for what all that stuff was. So this is the farm that I grew up on.
First day, we got to tour all the cool stuff around Leif's dad's property.
Let's just put this on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Nice anvil. Drop that on Coyote's head. I didn't have a clear idea of exactly what I wanted to build, and so I was just taking inspiration from everything. Still have the old Twin City. My dad has a lot of stuff that's been around since I was a kid. God, it's been a while. There we go. Need to make one thing perfectly clear in the beginning of this. We are not a professional film crew.
Professional crew. Didn't have one.
So there's going to be a lot of mistakes. Brady, your mic is dangling. It's just Brett and I. We're just a couple of dudes grabbing a camera, filming each other do stuff that we also don't know how to do.
So right loosen.
This is what I like to call layered problematics.
Cassette player. You got any cassettes?
Yeah, I left my, I can't in my brain. It's early here. Did you know that?
You left Van Halen 1984 at home.
Yeah, that's what I left at home. Take two. No, I left Van Halen 1984 at home.
But once we were done with the farm, we headed into town to my dad's shop, where he has even more stuff to choose from.
Doug's Fabrication.
And mechanical repair. So I will say ahead of time, my dad and I kind of talked about what we wanted the base car to be. My dad had recently bought this Jeep.
I found the Jeep up in Barnesville, Minnesota, at a friend of mine's place. Runs a salvage yard for old stuff.
This is a 75-year-old vehicle, people. Like legit 75 years old, 1950 Willie's Jeep.
So this is theoretically the vehicle we might be using.
I went towards the Jeep because I thought it was kind of a military-looking outfit.
And I did like the look of it. Currently does not run because there's no motor inside of it.
I don't know much, but I know that those are pretty useful.
But it didn't have a motor, it didn't have brakes, it didn't have much other than the frame and the shell.
No, it had no engine.
So I wasn't sold on making that the car yet. All right, you wanna go down looking around back?
Yeah.
Now, anytime that Brett or I would go down back, we would call it shopping.
Going shopping.
Going shopping. But there were a lot of other options, like lots of options. I mean, it's like the land of misfit toys behind my dad's shop. Oh, and this is the front loader I think he was talking about.
Oh, that looks heavy.
Yeah, that would be fun. Just throw that on the back of that thing. This is the S10 that we were talking about, you know, doing the same thing that I did with Frankenford. I mean, I built this one with an S10.
We built his pickup, what, that been 10 years ago?
That's Frankenford.
Yeah, somebody raced for pinks in this, for sure. Yeah. The Bonnie and Clyde's got gunshots in it?
I don't know how he keeps track of it all.
What the frick is this? This is nuts. There's no possible way that he can remember everything that's back here.
See how big the back seat is? This is Ford introduced this when people started having sex in cars.
But all of them felt like a ton of work.
So yeah, we didn't pick any of those vehicles.
So I was starting to lean into the Jeep idea more and more. The front of the truck made sense. It looked military, had wasted qualities, and I was starting to think that we could do something with the back of the vehicle, like put something back there for a person to sit, you know, like a gunner or something.
Like almost like a Pope mobile.
Yeah. And then Brett, to his credit, had a great idea.
The turret, having another front on the back. So I suggested the turret idea, which I assumed would be shot down, honestly.
I mean, look, as long as we can get, you know, the actual turret part of it to work so that it rotates and looks like it can shoot, that's cool. I think that'll be great. I've never seen anybody else do anything like that.
That got both Leif and his dad like, okay.
Do you have anything that we could throw it on that it would rotate on?
Even if it made like a nice ratcheting.
That way, when you're trying to shoot at somebody, you can swing a little bit and catch them if they're running off to the side or something.
We're basically building a killer version of a teacup.
Yeah.
Should be real handy.
So we had a plan. I mean, kind of a plan. It was enough of a plan. We threw the Diamond T cab up on the Jeep. And it looked like it could work.
You know, I thought it was kind of alluring.
The one idea I did come into this with is that whatever we did, I wanted it to have big tires. So we found a set of tires that's at a small town about 30 miles away. So we're gonna go there now to buy them. So before we got to South Dakota, when we were considering the Jeep, I managed to find a set of tires that should fit.
I mean, the turning radius on this vehicle is going to be pretty limited with the size of tires that we're putting on.
Oh, yeah. But it has power steering, right?
Yeah.
1950s power steering. Guns.
Okay. Okay, the tire incident. Now, my dad sent me the specs for the rims for the Jeep before I got to South Dakota.
I tried to tell Lee what size rim it had. Now, I don't remember if I told him 15 or 16.
So we just discovered there was some confusion in the rim specs. So
And we start looking at the rims, and they're 16-inch rims, so those aren't going to work.
yeah, this is a rough start. The bad stuff is supposed to come at the end. We started in the wrong direction.
We had to find some rims.
Back to the yard. Hey, maybe there's somebody at the bar that has 5. I'll go check.
Gotta go shopping at the bar for wheels.
Hey, Brett, how was the wheel search? Oh, I didn't know I was Fernandin. What?
So we just went a mile south of town here, and old Kevin.
Kevin Tesh. Now, this was a long shot because these were very special sized tires needing a very special sized rim to go on an even more specialized hub. The likelihood was slim. But Kevin had 4 sitting around right next to his shop, matching. I couldn't believe it. What are the odds?
He just had them laying around.
He had a set of rims for us.
We lucked out on that.
For sure.
Yay! Mazel tov!
Mazel tov.
Got us all 4 rims, and now we got 15-inch aluminum rims on the Jeep. And she looks good with those rims.
So day 1, we managed to get one thing done. Something that should have taken an hour, tops, took the whole day.
Day 2.
Okay, day 2.
Day 2.
And I just noticed that my hair doesn't look like it did yesterday. And I said that it looked like that every day. So I'm a liar.
16 days until the event.
First and foremost, we need a car we can drive. The car we have right now doesn't even have a motor in it. We need a motor. Kind of crucial. But look at those tires. Those tires are great.
Look at those, baby.
That's a cool looking vehicle.
It did look cool, and that helps motivate.
Seat's real dirty.
Seat's dirty.
Yeah.
Time to get it inside.
Doesn't have there's no inner handle. You gotta let me out.
Right?
I mean, I don't think we even put anything on the back at this point.
Just leave it as is.
Why don't we start with this? Drivability, stoppability, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's no good having a war rig if you can't drive to the war.
So we started with the brakes.
I tried to order all the brake parts that we needed for it. In the meantime, I didn't order shoes because I thought maybe these shoes would be okay in the brake drums. But we tore it apart after they got here, and
Would this go the other direction? No.
it needed shoes. It needed a lot of stuff for the brakes.
It's funny that the major thing we started with, and spoiler alert, was the thing we were working on all the way through.
yeah.
Oh, it's gross. Oh.
Do you think they still make like a wireless guy coming in pushing you around?
Well, no, it's like he put his head right through that.
Now, I don't think he would mind me saying this, but Brett does not have a ton of experience in car restoration.
I am not a mechanic.
So I was trying to find jobs for him other than filming everything, because if we were going to get this done, I needed his help.
Betty, why don't you go ahead and clean out the cab?
Not to say he liked the jobs that I was giving him.
Just be working more with like tools and.
Yeah, use tools to clean out the cab. What did I do with the socket?
It was just in my... The other new one, it was just in my hand. Most of the workload is trying to find the tool you were just using.
So many tools, never the tool you need.
It's 90% of the job. That's math.
There it is, I found my socket.
play with the socket wrench. I gotta clean the cab.
Smells like mice.
So at some point, Brett started digging for treasure.
Oh, did you see there was a bag of various items in here?
Yeah, and all the dirt, and he thought he might find something great.
I was for sure I would find some little treasure. Oh, lug nut. Sometimes you feel like a lug nut, sometimes you don't.
But mostly he just found rat turds.
Oh, some rat had a good home in that heater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at this. You just open this right here, just packed with rat friendliness.
Oh, that's a familiar smell.
Look, this Jeep was a mess. Like at some point, whoever owned it, they just gave up on what it was and tried to turn it into all sorts of different things.
Typical wire holding up the exhaust.
Stuff had to come off in order for us to be able to put the new stuff on.
I did it. Success.
Yeah, back it. So we just got to grinding and hammering and kicking, anything we could do to get the stuff off of it.
Not too bad for a city kid.
Yeah.
Having to find the right angle in order to get where you need to get to do the thing you need to do, like that's
Butt's dirty.
always a challenge.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Oh, look, you're the
Oh,
motor.
I'm Flintstones.
Yeah, you're the motor now.
Yeah, I'm the motor now. You know, I can't help but think how much easier our lives would have been if we just decided to build a costume.
Yeah, yeah.
Versus building a car!
I don't think the costume has any rat turds in it.
I mean, we like getting our hands dirty.
So, no more. Brett doesn't get his hands dirty.
Who said that?
Brett did.
Couple of
I don't know
fellas.
what it thinks. One day gives you any relief from any other days.
Now, at some point, Brett started finding alternative shopping expeditions.
I noticed this, the other side has this window piece,
Okay.
and
okay.
this one doesn't. And I
Oh,
think that's why
okay.
the window came undone.
Oh, excellent.
I'm gonna head over to the bar and see if I
Come on.
get that piece. So yeah, there was the bar was looking great.
Yeah, you make me tired watching you.
I mean, at first, it was a little bit of a challenge to find jobs for Brett.
Yeah, that's
that
the
it?
one. That's the one, boss.
But he got there.
Ta-da!
Proud of you.
Got that one on film.
In no time flat, he was using the big boy tools.
Day 2 progress report. The car's on jacks. There's no tires on it, even though we got tires on it yesterday. And still doesn't have a motor.
Still no engine.
No motor. But we're closer to having brakes.
Day 3.
Day 3.
The good thing about today is I think I have a cold.
Yeah, probably gonna rain today. Probably gonna rain. Yep. Yeah.
So some days it feels like everything is going against you, even Mother Nature.
Yeah. This is where everybody's at.
Yep. Fritz Chevrolet dealership. Look, they have they have perfectly good vehicles right there.
Yeah, perfectly good.
With motors in them. Why didn't we just pick one of those?
So let's get into the motor scenario and why we don't have one.
You gotta have an engine to drive a car.
Motors for a 1950 Jeep are not available on Amazon.
Engine or motor? What do you call it? Because my whole time of this trip is I wanted to sound cool, like I knew who was talking about it, and every time I'd say something, I'd be like, is it? Yeah, we didn't have an engine, or we didn't have a motor. I switched it up. Nobody told me. I didn't ask the question to begin with.
So we were all in a bit of a panic.
So I'm down back in my salvage yard, and by golly, there lays a motor. Well, when I got cleaning the block up, found out it had a crack in it. So then I looked on the internet, and I found a motor up in Minnesota. And it wasn't in too bad a shape, so I was gonna overhaul that one. Well, in the meantime, I was out talking to a friend, buying some wheels from him for this Jeep. Yeah. Hello? Where was I? Oh yeah, we went out to Kevin's.
Saved us with the rims, Kevin.
Kevin remembered from like 4 years ago, he was out on this property and saw a motor that was attached to an irrigation system or something like that. A 1950s Willys Jeep. He remembers this.
What you want for it? Any idea? Okay. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Bye.
Kevin, find our motor.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, it's the right motor. The way it looks if the thing isn't stuck. Been sitting inside all this time, he says.
Oh, so it hasn't fired up recently.
No.
So we might be in the same boat we're in right now.
Yeah, it could be.
And then he sent over some pics. But see, my dad's phone is so old, Kevin may as well have sent over smoke signals.
That must be the air cleaner.
So the plan was to go the next day to go get the motor, which means one less day to work on the motor, one less day to know if we have a vehicle that was drivable. There were so many vehicles down back that were closer to working. And Brett fell in love with one of them. Brett loved the Chevette.
I wanted this beautiful Chevy Chevette.
The Chevette's still available, right?
I've always liked odd-looking vehicles, like odd not in like, oh, that's kind of fun, but like, oh God, I wouldn't drive that kind of odd.
Honestly, his plan might have been easier.
Oh look, I left the key in the...
Yeah.
That's where... The color of the car was like your poop if you had prunes and red velvet cake. Are we biting off more we can chew?
Definitely.
Well, okay. With limiting ourselves, because just like swiveling chairs with gunners could be easily accomplished,
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think it's going to be an eye-grabbing piece at that point. And now I'm getting greedy, and I want it to be something that people are going to be like, oh, look at that.
Greed is not good, but we can't be wishy-washy with this. Time to lean in.
That's going to be our center point, and then I'm going to position the ring around that where the casters are going to go. Because then it's going to rotate you like this.
So build the track for the turret. Build the pivot. Build, build, build.
We also need a gun.
And look, not only were we working on the truck, we had stuff back home, obligations for the channel, meetings, uploading content.
Is the podcast up?
No, I definitely didn't get it halfway uploaded and realized that I cut a chunk out in editing.
Making sure other aspects of going to Wasteland were still moving forward.
Sometimes a job requires one person on this side and the other person on the other side. And sometimes that other person is downloading footage in the office.
Brett was filming me, organizing the footage, and helping build the damn thing. So I was feeling guilty for that.
Oh God, why am I doing this?
I felt like it was too much to ask of anyone.
A lot of hours, 14-hour days.
So I was just cleaning a bunch of rat shit. Whoops. Out of the seat. Don't mind me, just clearing all the rat's nest out of the seat.
And the bigger question that I'm sure all of you are having, what does this have to do with board games?
All this to play a board game. I could just play the game right now. It's literally just right in there. I don't have to do all this work to play this game. I could just go play it.
So I started having a bit of a personal crisis.
I just had this existential crisis of being like, honestly, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. Doing all this work for what? I don't get it.
It was day 3 and I was already losing faith.
This is too much work. I didn't think this through. I don't know if I can do this.
I don't walk away from projects. I have no doubt that I'm going to die with a tool in my hand. I just hope that it's not during this project.
Oh boy, this is gonna be an adventure.
Pliers are magic.
Dad!
Tired.
So if it doesn't catch fire when we start it, fingers crossed. Blood.
I like you!
Jesus.
Mother. Boom.